wonderful morning to one and all present here. I, Aditi Singh of BAJMC 1, extend a warm welcome to our esteemed guests, our faculty members, and to all our students. So today, I feel honored to welcome among us Dr. Nikhil Goyal, MD, DPM, MBBS, a gold medalist, a consultant, and a neuropsychiatrist. Mrs. Sangeeta Goyal, the president of the Inner Wheel Club of Patliputra, PDC Shweta Sinha, and to all the past presidents of the Inner Wheel Club of Patliputra. We welcome you all. Now, I request Father Principal to welcome our guests.
Respected guests, committed staff members, and lovable students, it is with immense pleasure and sense of gratitude that I stand before you today to welcome our esteemed guests to this important event organized in collaboration with the Inner Wheel Club Patliputra. Our resource person, Dr. Nikhil Goyal. Sir, your expertise in the field of mental health and your commitment to addressing the challenges faced by our students and especially the youth make you an invaluable asset to this program. We are honored to have you with us today, and we eagerly anticipate the wisdom and the guidance that you share with our students. May I now invite Dr. Sherry George to welcome our resource person, Dr. Nikhil Goyal, with a shawl. Thank you, Father Dr. Sherry, for doing the honor. I would like to express our heartfelt thanks to the President of Inner Wheel Club, Ms. Sangeeta Goyal, for this initiative and for her presence today. Ma'am, may your support and collaboration with St. Xavier's College of Management and Technology are approved to your dedication to community service and the betterment of the society. May I now invite Sister Jaya R&D-Yam, the counselor, to welcome Ms. Sangeeta Goyal with a shawl. Thank you, sister, for doing the honor. I also extend a warm welcome to Ms. Shweta Sinha, Executive Member, Inner Wheel Club, for her presence today. May I now invite Dr. Rakesh Pathak, Dean of Activities, to welcome Ms. Shweta Sinha with a shawl. Together, we aim to foster an environment where our students can thrive, not just academically, but also emotionally and mentally. It is our hope that today's program will shed light on the critical issue of stress among the students and provide practical strategies for its management and prevention. Once again, I welcome all our guests and extend my sincere thanks to all of them. We look forward to a fruitful session and to make a positive impact in the students' life and in the world. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Father. As we move on with today's session, I would like to invite Dr. Nikhil Goyal to take over the session, spreading awareness on stress on students, reasons and prevention. Sir.
Good morning, students. My name is Dr. Nikhil Goyal, and as Father has already given my introduction to all of you people, let me tell you one thing. This is stress. This is one topic. We'll be covering it today. So this is the topic which we are going to cover. Now my first question is, how many of you people are currently stressed? Okay. Then comes the next question. Is having stress always bad? So the answer is no. Because even today, when I was coming to this college, I am from DAV and my college is from Patna Medical College, Patna. So once I am coming to a prestigious college like yours, I am carrying the burden of responsibility of keeping the name of my institution on a upper hand. I was also stressed. But is this stress harmful? The question का answer yes या no में है. We'll be dealing in next step. So what all we will be covering? We'll be covering first what is stress. Second, how bigger this problem is. How bigger this problem stress is. Third, what are the kinds of stress? Fourth is the issues which you students face in your day-to-day life regarding stress. And last but not the least, coping methods, how you will deal with the problem. If you have a problem, how you will deal with it, will deal lastly. So first point is, what is stress? What do you feel? What is stress? Anyone? You know, the point जहाँ मैंने first student को mic दिया, and after seeing the mic, why am I? Why am I? Why not the others? What is it? What is it? That is stress. So stress is nothing, but it is the reaction of your mind and the body once you face any untoward situation. Any deviation from your normal surrounding will definitely trigger your mind to say something and your body to respond in a different way. Now that is known as stress. So at times stress are useful also, at times stress are harmful also. When it is useful, when it is harmful, we will deal later on. So it is basically very clear that any kind of deviation from our normal daily to daily routine will create some sort of mental stress, some sort of mental problems or thinking or thought process, or it will also produce some sort of physiological reaction, some sort of bodily response. Now that is known as stress. Then comes a, what is the problem statement? Now there was a study in which 12,000 से लोग ऊपर 100 से ऊपर कंट्रीज में स्टडी हुआ between 18 to 34 years of age group. Surprisingly, more than 50% of the students, 18 to 29% years of age people, they were suffering from depression or anxiety. Now what is depression? Anybody? What is depression?
So I believe it is a very broader form of sadness that we deal with.
Yes, it is a state whereby the patient is feeling unhappy, unworthy. There is no energy in the body. He is not feeling interested in his previously pleasurable activities, and that should persist for a more than 1 month period of time. And there are other diagnostic criteria also. But extreme form of sadness is depression. Now, what is anxiety? A state of restlessness, palpitation, heart beating very fast. You can hear your heart sound, sweating. You cannot sit at one place. You are constantly worried. So that forms your anxiety. So majority of the students, like more than 50% of the students, they were suffering from either depression or anxiety, which causes more than 61% decline in performance. So can you see that you people are the productive age group? You people are the one who is learning at this phase of age, and you people will be earning after a while. You people are the one who are the think tank in running any of the society, any of the industry. Any person who is managing a business is the think tank behind that business. So if there is a loss of productivity in your study period group, that means it is going to harm you in your career also. So in this study it was found that more than 50% of the students, they were suffering from depression or anxiety, and more than 61% decline in the performance levels was observed. So that means to say that stress depression and anxiety are one of the major culprits which is hampering your growth or enhancement. More or less, there was one more study which said only 1.6% of undergraduation students, they said that they do not have stress for the last 12 months. Only 1.6%. That means to say that the rest 98.4% of the students, they had a feeling of stress in the past 1 year. So this figure is way bigger, way bigger. Now, we have to learn whether all stress are good, bad, or they are something else. So, let us suppose you have an exam after 2 days. What you will feel? Stress is the answer, but what do you feel? Revisions are pending, lots and lots more to study. And why the hell this exam is going on this date? It should have been postponed. Why is my reading is not over? Am I not remembering anything? How will I perform in my exam? What will happen? So these are all kind of stress. So that stress is result of an outward situation. Like something is coming. Something is coming, like exam is coming, my parents are coming, my marriage is coming, my career, my placement is going to happen. So it is a response to an outward reaction. Whereas anxiety is the bodily response of an inward phenomenon. Because of this stress, you had certain hormones released in your body. You had certain thought process in your mind, which is causing your heart to beat very fast, which is causing you to make you unable to sit at one place. You are roaming from here and there and doing one thing or the other thing, but you are never achieving your goal. But in the mixture of both two, a person always feels stress as well as anxiety. But दोनों के बीच का एक लाइन है जो हम आप हर दिन महसूस करते हैं. But the point is that कि हम लोग उसको ट्रांजिएंटली फील करते हैं, उसका रिस्पॉन्स का आंसर फाइंड आउट करते हैं, उस पर वर्कआउट करते हैं और अपने आप को रिलीफ में पाते हैं. So there is one graph. Can you tell me what kind of graph is this? It is a bell-shaped curve. Okay. So as you can see, at one point of this extreme, there will be supreme calmness. I have no stress, I have no load, I have no anxiety. I am cool, calm, and very fine. And at that point of situation, at the extreme right, there is a form of distress. I am stressed, I am continuously stressed, I am feeling worried, I am feeling my heart is racing very fast, I am unable to sit, I am having sweating, I am not able to concentrate. So that extreme is distress, this extreme is calmness. But in the middle, we have eustress. Now what is this eustress? If you do not have that kind of stress before your exams, how will you give your momentum to the students? If you do not have the anxiety that, okay, father will come in our class, we will have to remain in a disciplined state, we will have to study, we will have to perform. If that kind of stress is not there, how you will remain disciplined? How will you study? So stress is sometimes useful also only and when you can control it. If it goes out of hand, if it goes uncontrolled, if it hampers your day in, day out socio-economic productivity, then it becomes harmful. Else, it is always good to have small amounts of eustress. Small amount of eustress. Now, there are three types of stress. First is acute stress. Exams आ गए, कोई फैमिली से आ गया, some bad news, some financial loss, relationship breakup, पार्टी में नहीं बुलाया मेरे को. So these things forms a part of acute. So they happen for a very brief period of time. They happen because of a particular situation. They remain for a brief period of time, and after that it is all right. It's all over. And it fades very quickly. Then comes your episodic stress. Now sometimes stress becomes fixed to a particular situation. That before every exam I will have panic attack. Before every time I will get dressed before going to a party, I will become stressed. So sometimes this stress gets linked to a particular situation, particular episode, and that becomes very irritating because after a certain period of time पेशेंट को भी पता लगने लगता है कि मेरे को इस सिचुएशन पे स्ट्रेस होगा, तो दे स्टार्ट अवॉइडिंग दैट सिचुएशन। लाइक अगर स्टूडेंट को एग्जाम की वजह से एपिसोडिक स्ट्रेस हो रहा है तो वो कुछ समय के बाद एग्जाम से अवॉइड करना शुरू कर देता है, विच इज ए रॉन्ग मेथड ऑफ कोपिंग। Instead of avoiding the exams, what he could or she could have done, they could have met our counselor ma'am, and she should have absolutely resolved the situation without any trouble. So if you have some sort of acute stress or episodic stress, you should definitely consult your counselor. Then comes your chronic stress. I am feeling stress throughout the day. No matter what, but I will feel stress. That is mostly dependent on the personality of the person. There are three types of personality. Personality type A, type B, type D. So type A personalities are always goal driven. Like in the morning they have their goal to reach the class on time. So they will have the stress of going to the class on time. Once they will reach the class, they will have another goal of doing something on time. So they always remain in a state of stress. That mostly depends on the personality of the person. And even for personality problems also, counseling is the only process to get rid of. I told you that there is a majority of the part which is you stress. That means that is helpful to you, or the calm state. It is only the distress, the extreme right part of the curve which is distress, which is harmful to us. तो इस distress को पहचानेंगे कैसे? पता कैसे लगेगा कि आई एम इन ए यू स्ट्रेस स्टेट और डिस स्ट्रेस स्टेट? तो इफ यू आर इन ए डिस स्ट्रेस स्टेट, दैट इज shown by your body in your thinking process. You keep on thinking for a longer period of time, continuously, same things, overthinking, negative thinking. So your body starts, your mind starts thinking in a negative pattern. You feel dizzy, lethargy, not well, low mood, absent-minded, confused state, and because of your thinking and your feeling, you start behaving in a cranky manner. You start weeping repeatedly, you start shouting repeatedly, you become irritable, you become confused, and that is the state where you can self-check yourself that you are in a state of distress. If you are in a state of you stress, मतलब जो अच्छा वाला है, in that phase your brain will never overthink. Your body will never feel lethargic, absent-minded, confused, not feeling well, and your behavior will never change. But it is only in the cases of distress that your mind starts thinking in a weird manner, your body starts behaving differently, and finally you overall start behaving in a negative manner. So the signs of distress is once your thinking process or your feeling or your behavior then changes in a negative manner. This slide I have not given a basic division because I want to listen from you people. आप लोग को क्या क्या issues है like breakup?
Yes sir, yes sir.
So we call it relationship difficulties. Point 1. Good point. Second, study. We call it exam stress. And attendance. No. Attendance is never a stress. We call it academic stress. Let's call it academic stress. And time management. Regarding what? So time management will also come under academic problem, na? We call it academic stress. Okay. We call it. We'll deal it in a second point. The point is valid, we'll deal it in a second point. Or career stress is the most important stress. So career stress and academic stress or exam stress, point 1. Point number 2 is your relationship difficulties. Point number 3, which madam pointed out, trying to be perfect at all the point of time. So the psychology behind being perfect all the time is, क्यों एक आदमी हमेशा परफेक्ट होना चाहता है? कभी सोचा है? लाइक आज तो बाल ऐसे झाड़ के मैं चाहता तो तेरे नाम का सलमान भी बन गया, क्यों नहीं बन गया? Because I wanted to be an example or perfect person type से behave करना चाहता. But why? Why I did not become Salman Khan तेरे नाम style? Because I wanted to get connected to you people. मैं आप लोगों के साथ connected करना चाहता था, connect होना चाहता था, relationship बनाना चाहता था, and I was having a fear that I'll be missed out. Now what is that fear known as? Fear of missing out, FOMO. Because you want to deeply connect with someone, you want to have certain kind of relationship or certain kind of intimacy with the other person, you are always in a fear, what will happen if they will ignore me? So that is why I'll remain up to date, I'll remain chakas at all the time, so that my presence is always missed, and I'm always being invited to all the parties, I'm always being invited to all the events, and I'm constantly being called out. So that is my craving for attention. That is my craving for attention. So once we start with what are the issues we face them, we'll also have to deal with how to cope up with the situation. Just first point was career anxiety. Anybody, what should we do for career anxiety? Like making miniature goals. Realistic, achievable goals for a shorter period of time. Another thing, hard work. Okay, very good. Shall we carry some bricks over our head and go around? Smart work. So nowadays, hard work and smart work are both opposite words. Okay. Now the word is smart work. Now the people have started giving this smart work. That is a combination of smart plus hard work, and it is basically applicable to all the corporate employees. Because not only they have to work for their working hours, they have to work even beyond their working hours. And they have to work smartly also, because they have n number of files on their tables. So now the word is smart work. Any more thing? You should always, like somebody said, you said very correctly, form miniature goals. Like, how will you achieve in your career? First you have to pass this exam, take this degree, then only you will be getting some job. So you have to make focus about completing your course first. For that you have to complete your this semester, then the next semester, then the next coming semester, and so on and so forth. So make small goals. You have to change in your personality also. Like if you are going to apply for a air hostess job, so your appearance, your attitude, your English speaking style, accent, everything will have to be according to that. But if you are applying for a management job, your appearance, your attitude, your dressing sense, everything should match according to that. So once you have enrolled in particular course, you have already come to a conclusion that in what field you want to apply. So if you have already established where you are going to apply, you should start behaving or accepting that life form from right now. Like how to dress, how to behave, how to talk, how to remain silent, how to behave maturely. These all things we can plan slowly and inculcate within ourselves, so that in that case, once we are going to appear for the interview, we do not face any kind of problem. Second was your exam anxiety. Now how to curb this exam anxiety? How you people deal with exam anxiety? By studying? Okay, obviously. We have to give exam, we have to study. Next, what more apart from studies we can do, whereby we can excel in our exams without stress? Take rest. That means there should be ample amount of rest or break between the study part, so that your mind is rejuvenated. You know, this is scientifically proven that your mind cannot concentrate for more than 40 minutes. So if you are reading or studying continuously for 8 hours, that means you are not paying proper attention to that. So what we used to do is, after every 35 or 40 minutes break, we used to take 5 minutes break. And in that 5 minutes, what we used to do is, we had formed exam buddy group, like 2-3 people who are also studying, मतलब जिनको भी सेम पेपर देना है, जो आप ही के ईयर में है, 2-3 लोग, ज़्यादा बड़ा ग्रुप नहीं, ऐसा करके एक बड़ी ग्रुप बनाए। ये बड़ी ग्रुप का भी वही फंडा है कि 35-40 मिनट्स पढ़ेंगे, उसके बाद 5 मिनट्स का ब्रेक लेंगे। नाउ उस 5 मिनट्स में, नाउ विदिन दैट 5 मिनट्स, व्हाट यू पीपल विल डू इज, you have read chapter number 1, she has read chapter number 2, that person has read chapter number 3. Now those 3 persons will discuss whatever they have studied in last 40 minutes. Okay? So what will happen is, जब आप chapter number 2 पे आएंगे, तो you have a basic idea of what you are going to study. That person जो chapter 3 पढ़ा था, वो जब chapter 1 पे आएगा, तो उसको भी benefit मिलेगा. So take breaks in between, small breaks, not big breaks. Study properly. Form buddy groups, small buddy groups, जो आप ही के तरीके से ब्रेक लेते हो और इंटरवल्स में अपने पढ़ाई को डिस्कस करते हो। Do not drink excess caffeine. चाय, कॉफी नहीं लेते ज़्यादा, because for a cup or 2 it is okay, but once you start taking more than 2 cups, then it actually dulls your brain. So do not take much of caffeine. Fourth one is, set realistic goal. बहुत बार ऐसा होता है, एग्जाम 1 महीने के बाद है, एक दिन में 10 चैप्टर पढ़ लेंगे, अगले दिन 15, तीसरे दिन में किताब खत्म। And what happens when you actually start reading that? First day first chapter only. Okay, next day 20 chapter, third day किताब खत्म। And these kind of unrealistic goals never works. So set up a realistic goal. Then only you can excel. Have proper sleep, because without proper sleep, your neurons will never regenerate. Once your mind is never at peace, you can never recollect more information into it. So proper sleep is also very necessary. Then what about your relationship difficulties? Now the point is that somebody said breakup. ब्रेकअप से पहले फॉर्म अप भी तो हुआ था ना, ये क्यों हुआ? Why this फॉर्म अप पहले हुआ, ब्रेकअप तो बाद की बात है। Anybody? You know why we form some bonds? We form certain bonds because physiologically, obviously, a boy is attracted to a girl, vice versa. But we form a bond because we want to feel complimented. हम अपने आप को पूरा करते हैं. Because right from our nurturing, it has been said that you are incomplete without your partner. So we had a hidden thought in our mind to get ourselves completed. And at point of time, to satisfy our needs, to complete our needs, to feel ourselves completed, we go to an extent where we become dependent on the second party. Now the second party is getting irritated because of this their breakup. Or if the second party is enjoying that part, you are getting fed up that I am putting so much effort in the game. Now you will do better. So what happens is, people actually feel lack of completeness. They actually forget, students actually forget that for everything there is a prescribed age group. For standing and playing like a toddler, there is a specific age group. For being in a diaper or on the bed, there is an age group. For playing, for doing certain things, there is an age group. Now this student age group is meant only for 2 things. Getting matured for the real world, study hard to make a brighter career in your future. This time is never prescribed for making a violency bond to complete it. Now that part will come once you are in your post career test. मतलब you have achieved, you have completed your career, your certificate course, and you have achieved, you have bagged a job, and now you are working somewhere. Then comes the prescribed age group of forming a bond. Whether you want to do it with the agreement of your family or not, that is a separate issue. But this phase is strictly meant only for two things. First is understanding, gaining maturity that is required for the outside world, and the second part is to have certain knowledge so which you will utilize in your future world. And once you are more dependent on somebody, then you have breakup, then you have different. So already the career anxiety has already been dealt, that undergrads are always in a fear of having a good career, and to cope up with that, you always have to shift your thinking process. Like replace your negative thought with good thoughts. Like, agar aisa tha, I have failed, then instead of thinking I have failed, you should think like, I have done to my best, now I will do it in a better way. I cannot do this. You should replace this thought with, this is the time for reflect, and I need more support so that I will be able to do this in future. I could have tried harder. Now, instead of blaming yourself and going in a negative loop, you should have thought that with the best of my efforts, many a times things cannot go as I wish for. So I will try it in a better way next time. So you have always एक negative thought को एक positive thought से shift करना चाहिए so that you should work properly. And the second part is persisting. Find meaning in your life. Don't find meaning in others' life. दूसरे पे डिपेंडेंट होकर काम नहीं करो. आप खुद के लाइफ का मीनिंग निकालिए. Why you are here, what you are doing, how will you achieve, how will you make your parents proud, how will you make your peer group proud, how will you make your siblings proud. Now that is the part of persisting. So with shifting and persisting, you can actually achieve better way. This examination anxiety I have already dealt with. Sleep properly, take frequent breaks, small breaks, make examination buddy, set realistic goal, do not overcompensate. Now, still, after practicing good sleep, good food, intermittent breaks, examination body, still if you are having certain problems, if you are having an anxiety attack, what you should do? Deep, fast and shallow breathing. Okay? What you can do is, inhale, hold, then exhale, then inhale, hold, exhale. अगर आप 10 बार इस प्रोसेस को करेंगे, I am telling you, you people are all right. I am a psychiatrist. I see many anxiety people day in and day out. With this breathing exercise, you can cope up with your anxiety 99% of the time. What you have to do is nothing. Breathe in, hold, breathe out. And you repeat it only for 10 times. Then the second one is called as grounding technique. Grounding technique is very simple. Exam, dena. What we can do is, you think about 5 things in your surrounding which you can see, 4 things which you can touch, 3 things which you can hear, 2 things which you can smell, and 1 thing you can touch. ये इतना कॉम्प्लेक्स टास्क है ना कि अगर आप इस ग्राउंडिंग टेक्निक को फॉलो करने लगे तो आप एंजाइटी वाले पार्ट को भूल ही गए. You will get entangled in this process and you will lose your original trigger, and that is how you will become good. This we have dealt the psychology of FOMO to gain attention. Next, tips for minimizing FOMO. जो मिला है उसमें संतुष्ट रहना, ज्यादा लालची ना बने. ठीक है? Accept and make good friends. Do not run behind the false limited and focus on the gratitude. This slide is very important. What are the unhealthy coping strategies? Where do you people land up without having awareness about how to deal with stress? Some people start using medication. They start taking antidepressant, anxiolytics, sedatives on their own. This is wrong. They start overeating or undereating. They become conscious of their body image. That is also wrong. Sleep pattern becomes disturbed. Jaldi sona, late sona, zyada sona, kam sona. Then comes most important point: drugs, alcohol, or any kind of addiction. So this addiction part is a vast problem. Like in Bihar only, like more than 20% of the youth are now are victim of this addiction. This is a separate topic, we can deal it later. And excessive social media use, remaining always on Instagram, WhatsApp, Facebook, LinkedIn or Snapchat. So why do we use this social media, excessive social media? Just to avoid FOMO. We live in a fake world to avoid this real world. Wherein in reality, if you have to avoid stress, we have to live in a real world instead of false. Now, basic health for tools is to comply for your basic needs. Basic need क्या होता है एक इंसान का? रोटी कपड़ा मकान, उसमें एक नींद जोड़ दो, हो गया बेसिक नीड. ढंग का नींद लो, रोटी कपड़ा तो तुमको घर वाले दे रहे हैं, मकान और कपड़ा तो घर वाले दे रहे हैं, रोटी ढंग से खाओ, सोना ढंग से सो, हो गया बेसिक नीड. Physical activities. 20 minutes of physical exercise a day can keep your stress away. This is the formula. Then comes your self-care. अपने आप को खुश रखिए. Do meditation, yoga, positive thinking attitude. These will relax your mind and keep yourself healthy. Social support. जैसे बोला examination बड़ी बनाए. Have meaningful contacts. वर्चुअल वर्ल्ड वाला नहीं कि 5000 फॉलोवर हैं और यहाँ एक भी नहीं. यहाँ एक रखिए, वर्चुअल वर्ल्ड में 0 हो तो भी चलेगा. Then adjust your expectation. Set realistic goal. ये नहीं कि एक दिन में 10 चैप्टर पढ़ेंगे. Set realistic goal. Adapt to your expectation. And last is most important. Ask for help. Jaya ma'am is here. Ask for help if you have any. Definitely you will get help. Do not go for those unuseful coping. Now, in a condition of stress, this is the mindset. And we have to go to like this. So, there is one very famous saying, between stimulus and response, there is a space. And in this space is where we can choose our response. And in those responses only lies our growth and our freedom. Thank you.